It's a story of a group of people who all met doing shows at GCP. All of them had lots of fun doing improv. They even bought weird shirts. It's a story of a group of weirdos who was busy doing shows normally. They were all pretty odd but didn't care, yet they were all busy. Till the one day when they were in isolation, but they missed meeting up for laughs and lunch. Then Donald called them all together. That's the way we all became the Brady Brunch. The Brady Brunch. The Brady Brunch. That's the way we became the Brady Brunch.
Wow, what an introduction. An original, well, it's not an original song, but it's like original lyrics to a very well-known song. What a pleasure. What a way to break the monotony of shelter-in-place, quarantine, whatever we're calling it today. But I am very happy to introduce the esteemed improv comedy group Brunch, which is performing, I understand, for the first time separately but together. Is that what you'd say?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
This is uncharted territory.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and we are breaking new ground here at CMAC, right? So let's do some introductions. We will start with Emily. Introduce yourself, and then maybe you can introduce the group for us.
Sure, absolutely. I'm Emily Pisano, and I perform with GCP and work for GCP on staff. And I also teach improv with Teddy Maldonado, my husband. And now we formed this group called Brunch. And so we'll try to go now in order. And so Emma is next.
My first show with GCP was Mamma Mia, and Emily and Teddy convinced me to take their improv class, and the rest is history.
Love her. And Brian is next.
I'm Brian Ray, and my first show at GCP was in 2009. And most recently, I was Wilbur Turnblad in Hairspray. And I've been wanting to do improv for a while, and I kept chickening out, and finally, Emily kind of convinced me to do it, and I've enjoyed doing it ever since.
LG's up next.
Hi, I am Laurie Pisano. I'm called the creative director at GCP. I don't know what that means. And I've been with GCP for decades. My first show was in 1975 in Minnie's Boys, and I was a bubble girl there with an atrocious 1920s attempt at hair. And the most recent thing I did was to direct Something Rotten, of which a number of these people participated in.
Sean.
I have been performing with GCP. I started in junior company in 2012. My first show was Fiddler on the Roof, directed by Lori. And Dan Pisano was Tevye, and it was a wonderful, great introduction to theater. I started taking improv basically as soon as Emily and Teddy started teaching it. It felt appropriate, since something in times of backstage crisis that I say to Emily is, should I just start acting crazy? And that kind of fits with improv. So I think it works well.
And Teddy.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. This is Teddy Maldonado coming to you live from my shower. Yes, that's true. The first show I ever did was 2010. I was in Oklahoma. The most recent show was She Loves Me with my wonderful wife, Emily, directed by the beautiful and talented Biz Feaster. And I have enjoyed doing improv. It's really something new. And I encourage anyone and everyone to do it, because even if you're not a theater person, it really helps just to kind of get you out of that comfort zone. As you can see, where I am, I mean, this is what I call giving into embarrassment. And as soon as you break those barriers, then you can go live in the shower in front of the world.
And
I'm wearing 2 shirts.
just to help negate whatever's happening in the shower. And we are missing 2 members of our group today who couldn't be with us. Not that anything bad has happened, just that they're busy with work.
Talk like that, Emily.
In memoriam. But Robert Sanchez and Ted Nunes are usually hilarious, wonderful additions to our group. And maybe we might get one of them later, but we'll see. It's all up in the air in these crazy times.
So we're brunch abridged today.
Yeah.
Brunch abridged. Brunch light.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Emily, what are we going to be doing today? Because I understand that I've actually been kind of dragged into this performance.
Yeah, well, we wanted to thank you for coming up with this idea by forcing you to be a part of it. And we're so happy that we all get to see each other's faces. So we're going to play a couple games today that we normally would play in one of our shows that we perform. These are some things that we do in class as well to help with, character work and general stuff we do in improv. But we're going to play the dating game, and that's where you will be very heavily involved. You are our dater today.
Ooh, okay.
So that means we're gonna have to send you out of the room while we have suggestions, various suggestions that have been given to us in 3 different categories. And we'll be using those today. So we have no idea. We're trying to keep it as improv-y as we can.
Okay.
We have no clue what they are. And we'll send you out of the room, and you'll have to come back and guess who we are and who you want to date. So it's a double.
Sounds like a wild night.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right. Great. We'll text you. Get out of here. Okay. So the first person, our first contestant, is Brian. And Brian is Dr. Oz.
Who? Oh, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz for Brian. Okay. I am contestant number 2. Oh gosh. Okay.
We do this in shows as well. We just pretend not to hear.
Yeah. Kopi Soteropoulos. Next up is LG. So let's find someone for her. Oh, Veruca Salt.
Who is that?
Willy Wonka. She wants the world. She wants the
whole world.
Yep, you got it. And then finally, Teddy, Kim Kardashian.
Okay.
Okay.
This is so exciting.
Yeah. So Sean, you can take it from here.
Well, should we call Donald back? Well, let's review with our contestants. First, Brian, go ahead and sound off.
I am Kopi Soteropoulos.
I am Veruca Salt.
And I'm Kim Kardashian.
All right. And before we call in our contestant, a brief word from our sponsor.
Oh, and our today's sponsor is Paint Rollers.
Paint Rollers. Take it away, Emma.
You're stuck in your house, looking at the floor, wishing your walls weren't beige anymore. You call up the paint, but you need somewhere to roll it, so you roll it on the walls. Paint rollers. Stop them at the hardware store, and they will roll your paint on the walls.
Thank you. And thank you to paint rollers everywhere. Now,
calling Donald back via text.
Great.
Very official. It's also what we do in our shows.
Whoa! Donald's back!
Okay, I'm back. Hello, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the dating game with our contestant, Donald Munro. Donald, we are so happy to have you, and we're happy that you're having us here on your show. So welcome to our show on your show. We have some truly.
That gets a little complicated, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We have some really exciting people here for you. Some wonderful celebrities and locals and a fictional character or two that you will go home with one of them or more than one, maybe. I don't know. It's
Okay.
never happened before, but let's take it away, starting with contestant number 1, with whatever questions you may have.
Okay, so contestant number 1, you come home at night after a long day, either sheltering or working, and you turn on Netflix. What kind of show do you pick?
I like anything that's kind of like a reality kind of show, kind of medical, kind of something, maybe something kind of doctorish, giving advice kind of stuff. I like to get advice, give advice. I kind of like to feel what other people are doing.
Okay.
Contestant number 2.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
So, we go out on our first date. What kind of restaurant would you take me to?
Well, I know a lot of great restaurants, and I would first of all drive you in my car, and everyone would know it's us because it has my face plastered all over it. And I would take you to this awesome Greek restaurant that I found at the Greek Fest, and we would have the best meal of our lives. I guarantee it.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. I like Greek food. That sounds like that could be fun.
Contestant number 3.
Contestant, contestant number 3.
Yeah.
So you go to a used car lot because your old car just broke down, and you have to pick a new car. What kind of car would you pick?
I would pick the most fantastic car that could fly and could have candy in it all the time, and I would not wait because I don't wait.
Wow. Okay. So
Contestant
you're
number
kind
3
of
is really coming
impatient.
in
Okay.
from a view of paradise, you know? Anyway, contestant number 4.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm on camera. I look terrible. Hey,
I'm sure you look wonderful.
thanks.
So a question for you.
Yeah.
You're going to go to the dog shelter, and you're going to pick a dog to take home and be with you during this time. What kind of dog would you pick?
Oh my God, I would love that. There are so many adorable little puppies that need rescuing right now that we should all be really aware of this. Thank you for asking me this question. I have been thinking about it a lot. And the one dog that I really feel safe around, actually, it's kind of funny, is like a big, like Great Dane. Like I love really big, like big dogs, and I would feel safe with like a big Great Dane. And I don't have one, so I think that could be fun.
Okay, a Great Dane. That sounds very
I like your voice,
intriguing.
Donald. You sound really. I like the way you sound over the airwaves. It sounds nice.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right, and your next round of questions, Donald, for the contestants. Let's just power on.
Okay, so back to contestant 1.
Yes.
So contestant 1, let's say things go like really well between us, and we end up deciding to take our first overnight trip together. Where would we go?
Well, I think we would take some friends of mine, like Dorothy, Gail, Glinda, and we would go to my studio apartment in Australia. And I think we would have some, I would give them some procedures to take home, some little facial makeover kind of things, a little plumping, I think. And they would just fawn all over you, I'm sure.
Contestant number 1, always with the surgical responses.
Okay. Boy, that sounds quite a trip. It takes a long time to get to Australia. So contestant number 2, what sort of weather pattern would you prefer? Do you like stormy, rainy nights, or do you like hot, broiling Fresno summers?
You know, I love all the weather because I always know what the weather is because I check on my 10-day forecast, and any kind of weather is fine. You know what I don't like? I don't love the fog because it makes it really hard for me to drive to work super early in the morning. That makes it tough. But anything else I can handle because I've looked at that forecast and I'm ready for anything.
So rain, shine, you're ready for it all.
I'm ready for all of it.
Okay. So contestant number 3.
Yes.
Are you a white rice, brown rice, or Mexican rice kind of person?
I am none of them. I'm a sweet sticky rice kind of person, and I want it now.
Okay.
You know, I
Sweet.
just have to say, I really appreciate what you're wearing today, contestant number 3. I appreciate that it's not violent. Anyway, moving on, contestant number 4.
By the way, I think me and contestant 3 would be really good friends. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so contestant number 4.
Hi, Donald.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm here.
Good. So contestant number 4, let's say I take you home to meet my mother.
Oh.
What would be the first thing you say to her?
Well, I would tell her that I hope that she watches my show. And I'm really comfortable around women. Me and my sisters and my mom are really close. And so I would probably be really good friends with your mom right off the bat because we would just talk and we would understand each other. And I remember actually when my dad was defending O.J. Simpson, that he always like had this thing he would say. It was like, make sure you take care of your mother and all the mothers you ever meet. So that's just something that's always stuck with me. And so I think it would be good.
Okay.
We can do it, yeah.
All right, that sounds like a great evening with mom.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, so back to contestant 1.
Well, we actually have to take a short break, Donald.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank God.
You got to pay for this somehow, right?
Yes, we absolutely do. Our second sponsor of the night is
This is something else we asked for, things we've been using a lot of during this shelter in place, and patience. Next item is brought to you by Patience.
Patience. They are in the hospital and not in people. Patience.
I wish I had more patience, not in the hospital, but in my head. I wish that patients were able to go to the hospital so they wouldn't end up
Dead. Thank you to our sponsor, Patience. Donald, at this time, if you would like to ask more questions, you may. However, if there are any contestants that you've decided you do not want to go home with at this point, we can eliminate at this time.
Okay.
But it's up to you, so we can go.
I'll do one more quick round.
Yeah.
So
let's do it.
So contestant 1, let's say on our third date, you get to pick where we're going to go. Would you take me to an art museum, a football game, or a monster truck rally?
I would probably take you to the art museum just because the studio lights really look good on my skin. And again, I think someplace in Australia is where we would go.
Australia. Okay.
Australia.
Okay. Contestant 2. Are you the kind of person, let's say I'm in a sad mood. What would you do to perk me up?
Well, first, we would start with several cups of coffee. I'd get you up bright and early in the morning, start your day off right. We would do a nice little stretch time, a 7th inning stretch, and I'd chop, and we turn this way and chop, and turn this way and chop. And you know what? I'd make sure I covered all the things that were worrying you in your life, all the things that were important. I'd just get it right out of the way, right first in the morning, so that we could enjoy the rest of our day together. And I would say, when you had to go to work, I'd say, have a great day, Donald. See you at the play.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's see, contestant number 3.
It's my turn.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
It's always my turn.
Yeah. So let's say we decide we're going to go on a cruise together. Okay. I know that sounds kind of weird right now, but you know, we're going to do this when things get back to normal. Where would you want to go?
I would like to go to an island with chocolate all there, the whole chocolate island, and it would all be for me, and the cruise would all be for me. You could have a little, but I'd have everything else, and I would not wait in line, and I want it now. I want it all now.
Well, Donald, you can tell contestant number 3 is a little salty.
Okay. Okay, contestant number 4.
Yes.
Do you ever have to get your jeans specially made?
I don't know, because I usually have people shop for me, although that's not always true, because sometimes I like to go and have retail therapy with my BFFs, but I don't always like wear jeans. I'm kind of going through this like phase where I've just been wearing like different types of clothes. So it's kind of a trick. I'd have to think about that one. And I'm like I've done a lot of thinking today already. So it's kind of hard to think anymore.
We kind of maxed out on your thinking.
Yeah, just like for
your
today.
Brain power. Okay.
It's like one of those days. Yeah.
But you reset tomorrow then, right?
Yeah, usually. It depends. I don't know.
All right, honey, just apply your lip plumper and let's get on with the show. All right.
My God, I'm going for Botox tomorrow morning. Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Well, tell us who you're not going home with first, if you would, Donald, and we will eliminate some of these suckers right off.
Okay. So contestant number 3, I'm still not exactly sure who you are, but I don't know if we would have the same candy preferences, and I think that might sabotage our relationship.
Oompa doompa doopity don't.
Okay.
Fine. More for me.
More for you. Sorry about that. And contestant 4, you are so wealthy, I believe.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we can be in the same like social circles.
Oh my God.
I don't wear designer clothes. I just don't think I could keep up.
South.
Well,
East.
I'm not even really into you anyway, so I'm glad that this didn't work out, because you are not my type, obviously. But anyway, thanks. Bye.
It's hard to do rejection. And contestant number 2, I do not like to get up early.
Ugh.
And I think that could be a deal breaker. But there's so many things about you that I think are so great. Like I would always be inspired by your peppiness, by the fact you know every single community theater production in town, the way you're always zipping around. That would be great. But I do have to tell you something. I got this Apple Watch now that all I do is push a button and it tells me what the weather is, like right outside. I don't even have to turn anything on.
This is
So-
killing my career.
I know. I think you might. It might be like an obsolete kind of thing. So
I understand, Donald. I do think we have a lot in common, though. I mean, we cover the same things. We try
It's
to get
very
the word
true.
out to our community.
Yeah,
You need to up your car game, though. But
absolutely.
I understand.
The getting up early was the deal breaker. The Apple Watch I could have lived with, but no way am I getting up at 4 a.m.
Oh,
So-
it's a rough life. It's
Yeah.
a rough life. Thank you.
So I think I am going to go with contestant number 1, although I'm not sure exactly who contestant number 1 is either.
Well, I'll tell you
Do
this.
you want to give me one
Donald.
more clue?
He's not Oprah or Ellen.
He's
Oh
not
Oh my gosh, who
Oprah
is he?
or Ellen.
But his show is
My show
precise.
is awesome.
So is it Dr. Oz?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I gotcha. Okay. So studio. All right. Well, that's great. I'm sure you'll have lots of health tips that you can share
I
at
like the
any
way-
time.
I like the way Donald let all the contestants down so gently. It's always him. It's not us. It's
That's
I
right.
know. That was so
Noble.
kind.
That's right.
We
I just
normally
wanted-
just throw everyone
I
under
just
the
wanted
bus.
more of that chocolate. That's what I want. Well, how fun. Well, that was great. I loved it.
Who was everybody? Do you know who everyone was?
So we got Dr. Oz, we got Kopi, we've got an Oompa Loompa, and I'm assuming you are Mrs. Kardashian? I can't remember
Yes, Kim
her
Kardashian.
first name.
Well, she's
Kim.
not Mrs. She's Mrs. West, isn't she?
Oh,
Yeah.
West.
That's true.
Kardashian
okay,
West.
okay.
I don't know.
Nice job.
But yeah,
And Lori was
Veruca Salt.
But I didn't know much about her
Wait,
either.
Lori was who?
I was the
Veruca
character
Veruca.
in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Oh,
Factory
okay.
that wants it all.
Wants
And
it
now
all, right,
wants it
okay.
now. She wants it now.
She wants it now. Okay. Yeah.
Good job, Donald.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. So before you play your next game, Emily, why don't you just tell us what does Brunch do in terms of like gigs on the side? Because you can be hired, right?
We can be. Yeah, we pretty much, because we're all super involved in the theater and performing, we perform as much as we can, but sometimes it's every other month. It's been a while since our last performance because of the holidays and because we were maybe a tad overextended in the last few months, but and now we actually had been hoping to have a show at the end of this month or in April, but obviously that's not happening. This is it. So yeah, we can be hired. We would do anything we could to try to make it work with our schedules, but yeah, we love doing this, and we think it's something fun for groups and parties, and even to teach a class. That's something that we would be willing to do too, because you'd be surprised how much it can help in just the daily business world. Improv really can play a good part and help build confidence for a lot of people that aren't performers, but it's helped a lot of performers too.
Oh, good. Well, that sounds like a great side hobby for you all to be in addition to all the other stuff that you're always doing. So
And
it's like,
even the married couples, I can't tell you how interesting it is to do improv with your significant other. And it was really fun when Emily and I went down south and took classes with Second City, because you know, a lot of people are there on their own, but it was
Mhm.
refreshing for us. And a lot of times Emily and I wouldn't even be in a scene together, but we would be able to just kind of see how we were with other people, total strangers, which is one of the coolest coolest things in the world, is to walk into a room, you don't know anybody, and then all of a sudden you're doing these really, you know, intense scenes and building rapport out of nothing, and sharing emotion that's deep and grounded with them, and you haven't even really learned their name yet. So it's a really cool, kind of refreshing way to do some wacky theater. So it's cool.
And so just to confirm, if you talk about these improv classes, those are open to the public, right? You don't have to be in a GCP show. You can sign up and
as soon as we
do it.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as we get through this time when we're not allowed to be near each other, we actually will have a new class session starting. We had to postpone our final class of this session of improv classes, but we were hoping to start immediately after. And so they're open to the public. You don't really, we've asked in the past that we have experience, but we also did a kind of intro to improv intensive, which we would be happy to do again if there were interest from people who didn't have any training, that we could kind of get on board with just some of the games and warm-up stuff that we do daily, so we don't have to start all over with that with the people who've been taking our class for so long. But it's really, it doesn't take any special skill. The most thing that we ever ask anyone is to just have fun, make your scene partner look good, and talk loud so that we can hear you. And those are pretty much the basics for you to be successful.
So do you have one more game that you're going to do for us?
We do. This next game is called Conducted Story. We got several suggestions here from our friends on Facebook of story titles that we'll be telling. And then the way this works is I'll be the conductor, and I will hold up people's names when it's time to switch who's telling the story. But hopefully we're going to kind of keep it on track. So we shall see. Okay, let's find a story title. Oh, okay. The Always Brewing Teapot. That is today's story title. Take that in, and let me get all my conducting, and here we go.
Aye, get in here, lad, said Aunt May, as she bustled into the kitchen every morning, as she always did. She yelled at young
Barnaby, because he had been playing out in the rain. It was a cold December morning in Westminster, England, and
Barnaby didn't want to come in because he loved the cold rain, and he said, "Mom, don't make me come in for tea."
Because I've gotten so muddy, it's going to get all over the floor, and then you won't love me anymore. And then Mom said, "Hey, guess what?
I will always love you, and that is completely ridiculous, Barnaby. Now get in here, because I've put the tea
on the kettle, and it's about to go off." She had been preparing all morning for his birthday party. It was his 9th birthday party, and it was a special theme.
The theme was dinosaurs, which was very popular with Barnaby's classmates these days, as dinosaurs are the cool thing in Westchester, England.
And another special surprise that May had cooked up, so to speak, was the Queen was invited to Barnaby's
Special 9th birthday." And she told everyone, "Oh, darlings, how wonderful to see you all here. Thank you for
having me. I just love dinosaurs. They're so old. Just
my back isn't what it used to be.
Because when I was a young lass, I would go excavating, and
now I'm a bit of a dinosaur myself."
Which just makes me feel like your party is actually celebrating me. And Barnaby was so excited that the Queen felt honored by his 9th birthday party, and he hoped that he would
one day be the Queen himself. Whistle went the noise of the teapot, and Aunt May bustled in. But suddenly,
the teapot burst open, and then the tea just started spewing out in an unending.
It was the genie from Aladdin. That's right. He was in the kettle all along. They didn't realize it was one of those
magical kettles, and Aunt May screamed and dropped the kettle, and suddenly the genie was there.
And the genie had all kinds of fantastic voices. And one of them was, I'm the genie, yeah.
Yeah, he even sounded like Miles Davis when he get real low.
Real low, and then he would say, hey, guess what? I don't want to sing anymore.
Because the queen is here. Oh my God.
Can you absolutely believe it? I think I'll sing
A song with an English accent, maybe a little bit of Julie Andrews, said the genie. And he began
to walk up to the queen, said, excuse me, miss, but I'm Barnaby. It's my birthday today, and I wonder, could you sing me a song? And the queen looked surprised. She hadn't sung since her glory days when she used to sing with the Cambridge Singers.
And she said, yes, I will sing for you. And it was the
most exciting moment because
she couldn't hardly hold her breath because she was really needing some
to sing. So she sucked in a breath and began to sing.
Oh, when the teapot
when the dog bites,
when the tea boils,
when I'm feeling happy
and sad and British and very, very dinosaur-like.
I simply remember it's Barnaby's.
Barnaby singing for you on your 9th birthday.
And Barnaby decided that was the worst birthday he had ever had.
Same.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. So for like 5 minutes there, you totally took me out of shelter in place, and I was in England, and it was fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, I want to, again, thank all the members of Brunch. I don't know if you can hear my dog Tilly barking in the background, but she seemed to like you as well. And we will, I'm sure, be seeing more of you, and you'll keep us posted on like your public performances, right?
Absolutely. We usually post good on GCP's Facebook page, and of course we all share when we have a performance coming up. And as soon as we get a little more clarity on the situation, I think we'll be trying to get something together as soon as we possibly can and have some free time, because I think we're all itching to be together and be silly.
That's right. Although you do very well remotely, so maybe that could be your shtick. You know?
Thank you.
Could be the first virtual improv group. So,
that's right.
well, again, thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you.
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having us, Donald. We'll call
Thank
it
you.
Improv.
Yeah.
Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe. Stay
Yeah,
tuned.
wash your hands.
Lots of love to everyone.